Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, it's the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz. 972-647-1893 is the number. And this station just loves it when you call. I have to read this for KNON's purposes. KNON Volume 2 R&B CD release party starring L.J. Eccles and the Neckbone Show Band, along with Ariel Griffin and the Blues Palace Show Band, hosted by Greg A. Smith. Free buffet by Elaine's Kitchen. Sunday, April the 6th, 2014. Doors open at 7 o'clock. The show is at 8 at the RL Blues Palace, 3100 Grand Avenue in Dallas. Tickets available at knon.org. Elaine's Kitchen, Blues Palace, Bill's Records, Forever Young Records, and Comp Cleaners in Fort Worth. That's an announcement from KNON. Now to get back to the business of what's going on with the workers' movement. Today, there is a Cesar Chavez parade in Fort Worth. Starts at 2 o'clock. Meet by the Convention Center. And if you look for the UAW float, Gerardo Contreras is very happy to have everybody with him on the UAW float. And he also puts Job with Justice and Alliance for Retired Americans and everybody else on that float for the Cesar Chavez parade. The Cesar Chavez birthday is the 31st. I guess that's Monday. On April the 5th, there will be a rally against corruption at Clyde Warren Park at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's next Saturday. On April the 9th is the Job with Justice meeting, where we will be discussing the American Legislative Exchange Council, which is coming to Dallas on July 30th, the American Legislative Exchange Council. So, to that end, I have invited my friend Daryl Sullivan to tell us about what kind of research you've been doing on ALEC and what do you think of them.
Good
Daryl
morning,
Sullivan.
Brother Lance.
Good morning, Brother Sullivan.
How you doing this morning?
Good.
Hope everybody out there's doing good this morning. Yeah, we got the ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council, coming right here to Dallas, Texas. Their national, I guess, convention or get-together. And so we're going to be trying to work on and organize putting labor and progressive people together to turn out and say we're not too happy about what they're doing.
Do you think this will be national protests, or do you think it'll just be local?
Well, we're certainly open. It's certainly a national implications. It's going to affect people all over the country. They've got their little tentacles in places all over the country. So we're looking at it being a national movement.
So there should be a pretty good-sized protest in Dallas about this.
We're thinking it could be really big.
I'm hoping so, because ALEC is a nasty organization that has done things in state after state, especially in states where the Republicans are in charge. But this is one of them. So
this is one of them.
My understanding is that the #1 recipient of money from ALEC is Governor Perry of Texas.
Governor Perry's big. But ALEC they've been involved in stuff all over the country. They were involved in Michigan in right-to-work laws. They were involved in Wisconsin in taking away collective bargaining rights from the public employees there. And they were at the forefront of the Stand Your Ground law in Florida in this Trevor Martin case. So they're
the ones that made it open season on young African American men.
Absolutely. They're right at the fore. They're the ones, they actually get together with legislatures, and they have about 1,800 state legislatures. They primarily work at the state level, and they put together model legislation. They get together with these legislators, these corporations, that are members
money.
of ALEC, big money, and they make model legislation for these legislatures to pass.
Mm-hmm. And they pass them, too, because they can put so much money behind them.
And so that goes into, there's a couple of aspects to this. One, we have the Citizens United decision in 2010 that allows these corporations to spend an unlimited, this corporate personhood, this unlimited amount of money that they can now spend on politics. There's nothing holding them back. And then through ALEC, they're able to implement their legislative agenda.
Someone called and wants the skinny again on today's parade. It's in Fort Worth, and they step off from the convention center at 2 o'clock. So if you get there before 2 o'clock and you go around the convention center, you should find Gerardo Contreras' float, or just find any old group you want to march with. But I go with Gerardo Contreras partly because I'm in the Auto Workers Union, but he welcomes anybody, and he's probably already going down there now to start setting his float up and that sort of thing. He'll definitely be there before noon, and they have bands and all kinds of stuff, because this Cesar Chavez is a big deal. The Cesar Chavez movie is on, by the way, and don't expect it to stay on very long, because every time they bring a movie into Dallas or Fort Worth that's got a progressive message for working people, they take it off in a week. So if you're going to see the Cesar Chavez movie, you better see it pretty soon. It's on in Dallas and Fort Worth right now, and we had a really good group. Rosemarie Rieger from the Job with Justice organized a bunch of us to go to opening night on Thursday night at Valley View Mall, and we had a really good time. We all went to Chili's afterwards and talked about it. It was pretty profound, not only because it's a good drama, it's a good story, and well acted and well done and all that, but also because there's so much to learn about organizing and how to win just from that movie. You learn about nonviolent struggle. You learn how violence ruins organizing drives, destroys organizing drives. I never knew before why Cesar Chavez took this long fast. He fasted for 25 days. And I never knew exactly why. The reason was because he was having trouble keeping his own members on this nonviolent thing. So he fasted while he made people sign a pledge to stay nonviolent. Because you go out and get violent on the picket line, here's what happens. The corporations are bad enough just by themselves, but if you get out and get violent on the picket line, they bring the army. They'll start with the sheriff, but they'll soon have the police and the army if necessary, and they got guns. So don't think you're going to come out and do something clever.
They got guns, brother?
Yeah. Don't think you're going to do something clever and win the strike by slugging somebody or throwing a bottle. That's the best way in the world to lose a struggle. So Cesar Chavez fasted while he made everybody in the Farm Workers Union sign the pledge for nonviolence. And when they all signed it, then he started eating again. So there's a whole lot to learn from that movie. We're learning, though, right now about ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, and I want to know how this is associated with the business of taking away our right to public education here in Dallas, because they are trying to privatize the public schools here.
Well,
There's big money behind it.
ALEC is always involved in any issues that will increase corporate profits, and so privatizing education, getting their hands on public monies for increasing profits of their corporation buddies is at the head of their so they're going to be involved. They're going to be right at the forefront of that movement as well on the side of the corporations.
972-647-1893 is the number if you'd like to give us your opinion. If you're in favor of ALEC, well, you can call and talk about how you love it. If you don't like it, you can also call and agree with us. 972-647-1893. The station loves it when you call, no matter what you may have to say about it. Now, have we thought, Darrell Sullivan, have we got any plan yet exactly what we're going to do when ALEC comes here on July 30th?
Well, we're going to let them know that we're not happy with what they're doing, but I don't know if there's a specific plan yet or not, but July 30th we're going to be out there. We have a lot of commitments from a lot of progressive organizations already, and from labor unions and people like Jobs with Justice and the Sierra Club and Move On.
What's the Sierra Club got against them?
Well, they're, again, environmental regulations and rules tend to get into their profits. So they're for fracking, they're for this XL pipeline, those sorts of things. And so anything to increase corporate profit. But the biggest thing, beyond the issues we've kind of touched on in corporate profit, is they're trying to really circumvent our democracy. Mm-hmm. And in 2010, the Republicans took over the House of Representatives, and there's a lot of talk how there was a groundswell of support for conservatives. But the truth is, in 2010, we had 1.1 more million votes for Democrats than we had for Republicans. Mm-hmm. And yet they picked up 34 seats. We had more than a million votes. So the biggest thing that ALEC is doing at the state level, in addition to promoting these types of legislations that'll increase profits for their corporate buddies, is they're gerrymandering these districts to take away our vote, to minimize our ability or for our vote to have an impact. So even when we go out and vote, they take our minority districts, our working class districts, and they break them up and put them with districts where they know that they'll vote Republican. So they're minimizing our vote, so that with everything else that they're doing, even when we turn out and vote, it's difficult for us to overturn what they're doing.
Sure. And if there are any progressive, they get all lumped together.
Right.
Like my congressional district.
To marginalize and minimize working people's ability to participate in democracy.
Mm-hmm. That's a true fact. What's the whole point of privatization and the whole point of being opposed to environmental improvement and that sort of thing has everything in the world to do with making more money for corporations. And that's why they want to privatize the Dallas Independent School District. They want to privatize everything because they want to turn it into a profit center. Any kind of activity that there is in our system, they want to turn that into something that they can make a profit from. And right now they're not making an adequate profit from the Dallas Independent School District, so they're trying to take it over. We got Mertz waiting on line 3. We're dying to hear from you. Thanks for calling KNON. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm kind of changing the subject a little bit, but I guess it might kind of get to the root of a lot of our problems, is the good old minimum wage argument. I'm 63 years old. I tend to talk to young people. My kids are in their 30s, and I tell them, that I think the minimum wage ought to be $12 an hour. And the average minimum wage in Europe is 16. I know they have different taxation and different benefits and things, but
theirs is a lot better.
So I understand. So many young people have this idea that's been pushed into their brain that for every dollar you raise the minimum wage, let's say you're shopping at one of the big stores, and suddenly the people there are making $10 an hour instead of $8. They think that every item on the shelf is going to be $2 more per item. I mean, they don't understand that it's just going to be maybe a penny or two difference. And I was just wondering how to get them. I'm not an economist. I don't have the numbers to prove to them that the advantages of somebody making a decent, workable, livable wage.
Well, it's funny, brother, how that when people make that argument, though, they act like the money can never come from the corporate profit. McDonald's makes $1 billion a year in profit. Right. And if the guy at McDonald's makes $10 an hour instead of $8.50, it's kind of, and I hear what you're saying, because sometimes you pay, well, I'll have to pay an extra dollar for it. Well, some of that money could actually come out of McDonald's profits. I mean, they're making enough money they can afford to pay their workers. And I think market forces will continue to keep prices low. I mean, so I think what you pay for a burger is going to be the same, and that, a little bit of the money that those workers are making for these corporations like Walmart and McDonald's needs to come back to the workers that are, and so, all we can do is, I feel like, is organize and be out there and talking to people and getting the message out there that the way we're going to get this economy going is by putting the wages in the workers' hands that then are going to go out and spend those wages and create more jobs.
Right on.
I agree. I heard the other day that in the boom towns, the oil towns like Midland, a McDonald worker makes $15 an hour because of the supply and demand. In other words,
North Dakota, there's a boom going on in North Dakota where people are
Right.
making $15 an hour at McDonald's, is what I'm understanding.
And I bet those stores make just as much profit as the ones that are paying.
And those stores are still making profit.
Right on.
I think Barack Obama, had a little bit of courage saying $10.10 an hour to the federal workers, but that's just a piece small. There's just so few people that actually.
I believe he's in support of doing it at a federal level too. But we have a roadblock. We have an ALEC member that we're discussing this morning. ALEC, John Boehner is a member of ALEC and has been for a long time. Right. And he's the one that's kind of got the whole thing bottled up right now and not allowing this thing to move forward so that people can make some sort of just bare minimum be able to live. It's not like you're out buying Mercedes-Benz on $10.10 an hour.
I challenge anybody that probably make a whole lot more than that are all against raising the minimum wage. I challenge them to try a couple of months.
Well, and we've seen a number of studies that are saying this type of movement, if we could do this is the kind of thing that would give the economy the kick that it needs. Those people that are making those low wages, $10.10 an hour, those are people that are immediately going to go out and spend that money, buy the goods and services that are going to be what we need to get this economy going.
Right, and they probably eat healthier and therefore less medical costs. And we could go on and on, but anyway, I appreciate your show. Always enjoy it. Mr. Hightower I wish you were still a politician trying to get things done down in. But your voice is still out there, so that's great.
Okay, Brother Mertz, can you wind it up? You got any final words?
No, sir. I just wanted to compliment you on your show.
Okay, do we have time to put Bernice on? No, we'll have to take a break next, and then Bernice, I'm sorry if you don't mind waiting. We'll put you on as soon as we take a short break, and we'll be back to talk about ALEC and the other awful things that are going on in the state and in the city of Dallas. Saturday morning, 972-647-1893. Thanks. Bernice is on line one. Let's put her on. Good morning, Bernice. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for calling KNON.
Good morning. I'm a first-time listener. I've listened, but I was always leaving to go to work or something. So anyway, I'm enjoying your show. I have a couple of I'd like to make some comments, and then I want to ask a question. I understand that ALEC is big, and especially in the southern portion of the country where they are actually making, like I said, making progress with manipulating the legislation and then our elected officials being caught up or sold out by changing, just different things on various levels, like, let's say GMO foods put in our communities. And I appreciate the fact that Dallas and Dallas County alike are really pushing for green initiatives. But when you have things like the things that go into our bodies not being addressed, I have a concern, and I'm going, what can we do as a community to rally up against these giants that bring these what we call frankenfood into our communities, and they sell it through various food grocery chains, and it's going to have long-term side effects with our health, and that's why I see the medical field, the medical industry is a booming business because they're putting toxins into our food, into our water, and these corporations are making profits off us. And when are we going to stop allowing them to get in those positions of authority through our legislators and put fire under these elected officials' feet? I think we don't have enough. We don't hold them accountable enough, these elected state officials, enough to really show them that we are serious about what we say when we go out to vote. And there's no real changes. I don't really see changes in the legislation as far as our elected officials being held accountable. So I just want to know, how can we hold them accountable more after they're elected? Because we got more Republicans in office, okay? And I'm not saying that all of them think the same, but when you have deep pockets and you got people being pulled by their pockets to manipulate and push legislation into our communities that hurt us, we just seem to react as opposed to being proactive. And I want to know how we can change that. And the other thing is, I'm really pushing, I would like to see more our unions and our teachers and our churches and our corporate community organizations to become more on one accord as far as doing more than just rallying. We need more policy changes. And that's what I'm really seeing a weakness, because even though they have money, we have money correctly. I mean, just like you were talking about.
We have a little bit of money.
Yeah, we have a little bit, but we still have money. So it's not like we can't help. We can help if we know how to channel it properly. Just like you were saying earlier, I heard y'all talking about, we raised the minimum wage to at least $10 or something like that. That will help people to spend. Well, instead of just spending money, let's talk about ways that we can invest in areas where we need to push change in our legislation. And that's what we need, not just when the voting cycle or election cycle comes up, but where we really make a difference. Mm-hmm. And I want to know also, if you can address this, how can we start a citizen's petition on things like, like ALEC, and really have something change in the policies, even though we have elected officials and they may not want to change. How can we override that in, the way that, whether it's the student, do we need to go to the Supreme Court, or what do we need to do to change this where they
I think the Supreme Court's on board with ALEC. Well, maybe you have a problem there. What we got to do, sister, the first thing, that's what we're here to talk about this morning. The first thing we got to do, the ALEC is coming to town on July 30th. And on July 30th, we need to have you out there, make you a big sign, and let them know how you feel about these issues. I mean, the only way we're going to do this is when we go to our churches, when we go out to our union hall, when we're involved in our communities and our neighbors, and we have to get people better informed, and we're going to have to turn out and say, we've had enough. We're going to have to take it to the street. I got a very good brother that's always telling me, we got to take it to the street. And that's how we're going to get their attention. And look, I'm a member of a union, and I'm on the PAC committee of that union, Teamsters Local 745. Good morning out there, all you Teamsters. So Teamsters 745, and we're spending the money in the way that you're talking about, but the amount of money that these ALEC organizations is spending is overwhelming. The Koch brothers is a vice chairman on the ALEC board. Koch, maybe you've heard of the Koch brothers?
Yeah.
In 2010, just the Koch brothers, it was announced last week, spent $100 million. That's just them. That's not all the other corporate. So the amount of resources that they have, but sister, the resource that we have is we can organize. And we have shown over and over that when people come together for the common good, we can overcome these corporate masters. We can do this, and we're going to do it on July 30th.
Okay, let me ask you just one more question. Where can we go online, or is there something where we can go online and read about the different issues that we are fighting for? So, not just with ALEC, but a lot of other issues. So we have be more intelligent on how we engage in these protests and whatnot.
Yeah, first of all, there's the Dallas AFL-CIO website, which is good. You can just Google Dallas AFL-CIO. And my website is labordallas.org.
Okay.
And there's a website called Alex Exposed.
Alex Exposed.
It's very good on this, specifically on Alex.
It's ALECEXPOSED.org. Of course, almost everything's on the internet. But Sister Bernice, you mentioned the idea of our having a petition. There is a petition going around asking the Dallas School Board to not participate in the privatization of the school board. I personally think we should have a petition to the mayor, because the mayor is the main spokesperson for this. And when ALEC comes to Dallas, undoubtedly he'll be welcoming them to bring their convention to Dallas.
Is our mayor? Is this mayor? Is he a member of this? How does he connect? I mean, is he a member of this ALEC coalition? Is he a member or any of the three?
I don't know if it's a secretive organization, so I don't know what his relationship is to ALEC. But I do know that he's trying to do one of the things that they want to get done, which is to privatize the school system. So they're connected ideologically, even if they're not connected directly physically. I
would say connect the dots there.
Yeah, they probably, but they're both doing the same thing. So how would you word a petition? You know, it has to be very short. It has to be like only 2 sentences. I'll ask you, Bernice, and I'll ask Daryl both, and I'll ask the listening public to call us at 972-647-1893 and say, how would you word a petition right now to Mayor Rawlings? Any ideas?
Well, I would say, please do not support the agenda of ALEC. It's hurting our community.
That's good. That's 2 sentences. Sounds pretty good. What do you think, Daryl?
I didn't give that much thought. I don't know. I'd have to put some whereases and stuff in there.
No. It's got to be short. It needs to be short. It should be short enough for people to memorize it.
It is therefore resolved. You know, the public education needs to be for everybody, and it needs to be accessible to everybody, and doing it for profit. I don't know how I'd word a resolution, but it's certainly not going to be good for the children of Dallas, that's for sure.
Sister Bernice, have you got anything else?
Well, like I said, if we can come up, if you come up with some things, please put it on the your website so we can get this petition going. I mean, I'm really serious about that. I'm like ALEC and anybody else who want to come in under the disguise of we're trying to help the people when we know that if you are just in there for, your own self gain, then we want to change that and say, no, it's not about you, it's about us. We are the ones that have to deal with the underlying hidden agendas and whatnot. So I really believe in the people. We got good heart people who really love. I think we got a lot of misinformed people too, who've been thinking that if we privatize, it would change. But that's why we need to lay out the facts and put it out there so the people in easy reading, 3rd grade level, so everybody can read it and say, okay, now we understand. Because when you got a lot of terminology out there and you're speaking over their head for the average Joe Blow, he's not gonna take time to read it. But if you, like you said, condense it to the point where it's short, sweet, and simple, and to the point, you're gonna get a lot more accomplished than just long-winded words.
Okay, that's a good deal. Thanks so much for calling KNON, Sister Bernice.
Okay.
Brother Joshua's been waiting. We'll try to put him on. Can you put Joshua on line 4? Good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
Good morning. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we'll hear you good.
Good morning. Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to Bernice. I loved her suggestion, her summary there for what would a possible statement for the mayor. That's really well done. I also I have a quick comment about an upcoming event, and I want to talk just a minute about maybe some way we could prepare for ALEC coming, right? And have a bit of fun with it too.
Lay it on us.
Next Saturday, April 5th, at the Sterrett North Tower Jail, there's North Texas Immigration Coalition and a group called Pueblos Sin Fronteras have organized a demonstration to stop deportations. That's again at the Sterrett North Tower Jail next Saturday at 12. That's to keep our fellow workers with us here rather than having them be kidnapped and taken to Mexico or Central America or wherever.
And ALEC is really involved in that, and they did the model bill legislation that we just saw in Arizona. Part of that was knocked down by the Supreme Court, but ALEC is very, very much involved in this immigration issue.
Yeah,
that's going to be a conflict, Joshua. There's a rally against corruption at Clyde Warren Park at 11 a.m. next Saturday, and you're saying yours is at 12?
Well, this one, yeah, I'm seeing it's at 12 noon, yeah. So maybe folks could split their time, or maybe one.
Go to Clyde Warren Park at 11, and if they're done, then go on over to Lou Sterrett Jail at 12. Okay.
Yeah, I hope so. I imagine the party will be going on for a while there. I don't know if the music playing or anything like that, or if this might be a bit more serious than that, but we'll see.
Yeah, some rallies get over with in 30 minutes. Mine always do, but other people like to try to make a day of it.
Yeah, but I like the idea of preparing for ALEC. That's ALEC, right?
American Legislative Exchange Council.
Yeah, my wife and I were kind of having some fun with putting together our own acronyms for ALEC, right?
Oh, yeah? What do you get?
Well, I got ALEC, right? So here's one: anti-labor extortion caper.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Anti-labor extortion caper. Yeah, that is good.
And now here's another one. It's a bit ad hominem. It's a bit personal, but and I'm not sure if Ted Cruz is even involved with it. But here's another one.
Ted Cruz is a member of ALEC.
Okay, good. Well, this one will work for him then. Here we go. All losers, even Cruz.
There you go.
Y'all have a good morning.
All right, thanks for calling. And you can call us too at 972-647-1893. KNON really likes it when you call. We're talking with Darrell Sullivan. He and I are concerned about ALEC and the privatization of the Dallas public schools. Both of these things are going on right now. They're breathing down your neck. And so what are we going to do? Darrell?
Well, let me read you a little bit more about it. According to The Nation's John Nichols, ALEC's agenda, this is ALEC's agenda, seems to be dictate at almost every turn by multinational corporations. It's clear the way for lower taxes, less regulation, a lot of protection against lawsuits. They want to limit the ability to people to sue their corporations, and very, very active in the area of privatization. Privatization is one of their chief #1 goals, besides taking away our ability to participate in the democratic process, which they're very involved in that as well. They've been at the forefront of these voter ID laws as well, in addition to the gerrymandering of districts.
So voter suppression, that comes from ALEC too?
That voter suppression comes directly straight from ALEC. Both in North Carolina, where they've seen a lot of problems, and in Texas.
Okay. Let's see if we can get Marjorie on. She's online too. Thanks for calling KNON.
Good morning.
Morning, sister. Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Good. One thing I wanted to answer Bernice's question about GMOs. That Saturday, well after the event downtown, is the Prometheus Project's monthly meeting, and it'll be at 3 p.m., and it'll be at 5934 Royal Lane, Suite 252 in Preston Hollow in Dallas. And it's a monthly anti-GMO meeting, and I invite Bernice to come. There'll be plenty of time to get up there after either the rally against corruption or the immigration thing. I did see a note about that, and so probably I might be able to get there about maybe 30 minutes late, but it'll still be going on. Thursday I couldn't make the screening because I was at an environmental meeting, but one of the points made at the meeting is there needs to be a new generation songbook. That they spoke specifically about the environment, but in general there needs to be a new songbook. One thing I want to...
Speaking of songs, Marjorie, they're playing our song now. We have to take a break. Just stay on, and you can finish your thought after the break.
I'll
be right back. We're back on the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz, and I'm with Darrell Sullivan. 972-647-1893. Samuel is on line 3. Can we put him on? Oh, wait. We didn't finish Marjorie. Yeah, let Marjorie on. She still had something else to say.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Okay, good. So anyway, I'm really looking forward next week to teaching people the personhood song, which I think needs to become a part of a new generation songbook. And
the
also,
personhood song. Okay.
Yeah, it's about personhood and about the issue of real personhood versus corporate personhood.
Okay.
And I'm also looking forward to learning a Switchblade's anti-corruption song. So those will be good entries to start a new songbook with.
That's at 11 o'clock at Clyde Warren Park, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'm a pretty good singer, and so I should be able to pick up his songs pretty quickly. I do have a music degree. I won't take airtime up with that, but my last comment is this Wednesday, y'all didn't mention there's going to be a Jobs of Justice, Faith and Labor session at the CWA Hall, and it'll be at 7 p.m. this Wednesday. And I think Rosemary will be there. And
7 p.m. Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, and that's at 1408 North Washington in Old East Dallas, and I will be there. I look forward to that. And even if a person is an atheist, you know, if you're in a union with people of faith, you need to know how to work with them and what their hermeneutics are. Or if you're in IWW, you're going to be organizing people of faith, and so you'll need to approach them from a right angle. So even an atheist might learn something at the meeting.
Okay, thanks
I
for calling.
look forward to all this.
Thanks for calling. We got some people waiting. Samuel's on line 3. Good morning, Samuel. Thanks for calling KNON, and thanks for waiting. Is he still there? Oh, I'm so sorry. Samuel, call back. How about Mookie on line 4? Is that one still alive? Well, we're losing our callers because our other callers are talking too long, I guess. Well, KNON 972-647-1893. Okay, put her on. Good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Am I on?
Yes, you sure are.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching a PBS station in the middle of the morning, and there was a lady on there. Last name is Hall. She's written a book called Hidden Girl, and it's about how she was taken as a child, sold actually by her own family members, into slavery for some people that are here in the United States. I think they were in San Francisco.
Really?
And some neighbors were watching, and they noticed that she never went to school, and et cetera, and they called some people, and those people were the cops. And these people had already told her that never to answer the door because the cops would take her away for being bad. So when she saw them, she was terribly afraid. Long story short, she's written this book, and she said that in the United States there are 43,000 slaves like that.
Wow.
People from 43,000. I thought that was such a huge number. And that's one of my areas that I'm interested in. So I just thought I would put that in the airwaves for other people that are interested in that.
Okay. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. God bless.
Slavery is the bottom rung for workers. But that's what they're headed for, when they try to keep you from getting an increase in the minimum wage, or something like that.
Wage slavery, brother?
No, I'm talking about real slavery.
Regular slavery.
Regular slavery. We want to give out a big cheer to the Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins for his proposal to raise the minimum county wage for contract employees up to $10.25 an hour. That was in the morning news this week. And, of course, Senator Harkins got a bill going to be debated in the Senate right away to increase the federal minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. And President Obama has already tried to raise it to $10.10 an hour for people who contract with the federal government.
And didn't he do something with the executive order this week on putting more people classification for overtime?
Yeah, the way it works is that some people can get overtime pay and other people can't, kind of depending on how you're classified. It also has a little bit to do with how much money you make. And he's trying to raise that floor up so that more people would qualify for overtime. And that's a really big deal. So some people on our side on this issue, I always say that when we say that draw the line or which side are you on or a line in the sand or something like that, that line is a picket line. And you can tell which side people are on by telling how they feel on the subject of the minimum wage. Like you mentioned John Boehner a while ago, the head of the House of Representatives, he's dead set against an increase in the minimum wage.
And extending unemployment benefits, which may be of interest to me very soon.
Because you're about to be unemployed, huh?
That's correct.
What happened out there?
Well, I've worked for a box manufacturer in Grand Prairie, Texas. I've worked there for 30 years, and we're going to see all production cease there on April 25th.
And they're going to shut it down.
They're going to shut it down.
Leave everybody without a job.
That's right. And that's got large to do with these free trade agreements. You know, when I went to work there back in the early 80s, we made boxes, and there were just all kinds of manufacturers in North Texas. They just made all kinds of different types of goods. And all of that's gone away. All of that's gone now. All of that's gone to Pakistan or Egypt or China or Mexico. And it's just got to the point where there's nobody left to make boxes for.
Somebody somewhere else that'll do it cheaper.
Somebody somewhere else will do it somewhere cheaper.
Yeah. And someplace where some dictatorship or something, so people can't make a decent living, and the corporations want to move there.
And they can pollute the environment.
Yeah,
and they
can do all the pollution.
And they can make all the profits they can make.
It's a terrible thing, but it's true that shops are closing. And what's the name of the shop that's closing out in Grand Prairie?
It's been a number of things over the years, but now it's Rock 10.
Rock 10, and the corporation's just shutting it down.
Just shutting it down.
Leaving everybody high and dry. You're trying to get trade authority out there.
Yes, I filed a petition with the Labor Department on that.
So you're the union rep, right?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
So you file a petition with the Labor Department, and under certain conditions, you can get a little bit better deal for people that are going to become unemployed.
We're going to have an opportunity to get a little extended wages of unemployment and maybe some retraining, some educational opportunities for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's a lot better than just a normal getting laid off.
But it's really a deal that any unemployment worker ought to have available to them. I mean,
Sure.
If you're in a situation where you've been put out of work through no fault of your own and you need an upgrade in your skills, that ought to be available to everybody. That just make sense that, you know, you've worked at a place and they're shutting the place down. It's not your fault they're shutting it down. That there would be some assistance out there to help you get back in the workforce and make a living.
Mm-hmm. Rick is online, too. Can we put Rick on? Rick, thanks for calling KNON.
Hey, Elma, thanks for your work. I appreciate you standing up against Alec. By the way, our mayor is part of Alec, by the way, so just FYI.
Yeah, surprise, huh?
So he is part of Alec. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. And been a supporter for a long time. Back in December, Ted Cruz spoke to them, so you know where he stands.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, what is this $10.25 stuff anyway? I mean, that's not a minimum wage. That's a child wage. You can't make a living on that.
No, you can't. But it's better than what we got. We're not getting anywhere on getting that.
I understand. I mean, well, we need to be out there fighting for at least double that, at least.
Well, we've seen the fight for 15. Maybe you've heard of, and it's been big up in Chicago and New York. A lot of the fast food workers are involved in a struggle called Fight for 15. They believe it ought to be $15 an hour.
Absolutely, I'm right with them too. It should be. I agree with it.
And it's not like these corporations aren't making enough money that they can't do that. I mean, they easily could afford $15 an hour.
Last I heard, the Fortune 500 corporations had $3 trillion in cash. Now, I'm not talking about the money that they're investing, or that they're using or something, in cash.
In cash.
That they don't even have a place to put.
Yeah, the George Soros, the Koch brothers, these kind of guys are spending a lot of their money on political movements, which are not doing anything. By the way, what do you think about our esteemed First Lady over in China? Speaking of labor, what's that all about?
I don't understand what she's doing, but they've forever got to do these diplomatic missions, and the First Lady does some of it. I guess it's just as good as not going.
Costing us a lot of money, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it costs us to keep diplomatic relations going with all the other countries. But I don't really begrudge them that. What I begrudge them is when they send 50,000 soldiers. that's when the price starts to really going up.
That's true. Then they're talking about sending $1 billion over to over there in the Crimea right now. $1 billion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, they won't send $1 billion. What they'll do is they'll extend credit. they'll say you can buy $1 billion worth of our products, you know, with big profits for us.
You bet. That's good. Thank you, gentlemen. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Rick, and raising these questions. The minimum wage really should be a lot more than $10.25, but still $10.25 is better than $7.25.
A lot better.
You have to fight for what you can get.
And that's what it is. We have to fight. I think that's the key right there, brother. We got to fight. We got to take it to the street, and we're going to have that opportunity come July 30th. Alex is going to be right here in the middle of us, and we really need to turn out for this. I think everybody that's interested in these issues, whether it's environmental or labor or democracy itself, you're going to be hearing more about this coming up. Virtually every progressive organization that I'm aware of is organizing towards this, and we're really going to turn out a group here in Dallas, Texas. The national spotlight will be on us right here in the heart of Texas.
And did I mention that the Sodexo organizing drive has succeeded?
And TCU?
Yeah.
You did not mention that.
It's because I'm so focused on the bad news that I often overlook the good news.
So we did get some good news.
Yeah, the AFL-CIO Youth Council, Young Workers Council, helped. Of course, the main credit goes to the Sodexo cafeteria workers themselves.
Was that United Food and Commercial Workers? Who was that?
That's right. The workers at the cafeteria got screwed really bad at the beginning of this year. The company came in and cut their benefits real bad, cut them right to the bone. So they went to the United Food and Commercial Workers and asked for organizers.
All right.
And the United Food and Commercial Workers sent professional organizers, but they also sent the Youth Council Director, Cooper Carraway, who's been on this program, who went out there and helped line up student support. And by the way, this is a little credit to the KNON Workers Beat program, I'm proud to say. Cooper was on this program about 3 weeks ago talking about the Sodexo workers, and after the program, 2 professors called him. So he had a couple of professors he was working with on the campus, plus all of the students, the progressive side of the student equation. And they went around, the students would go to the cafeteria every day and assure the workers over there of their support. Now, they did not conduct a boycott, but they could have. They could have conducted a boycott, and I imagine management knew that. And so the drive went on, and then last Monday, they had a government-supervised election, supervised by the National Labor Relations Board, and won it by about 55, 56%. So they've got a union now, and now they've got to get a first contract.
And so workers can still win. It's an uphill struggle, and we're facing many obstacles, but we can still win these struggles.
But it's just like with the farm workers. You can't just do it with farm workers. That was in the movie, the Cesar Chavez movie. First of all, they started organizing the farm workers in the field, and that's the fundamental thing you have to do. But then they went to all the churches in the neighborhood. They went to everybody else. They went to political figures, civil rights organizations, and they developed a movement. The farm workers organizing drive became a movement.
Do you know, I just remembered, brother, me and you went to Watsonville and marched with farm workers. Is that right? You remember that?
Fact. Yeah, we went to Watsonville, California with the farm workers.
We sure did, helping organize strawberry pickers.
And the bus that we rode in out of San Francisco was a bus full of workers that are helping.
SEIU.
They were helping old people. It's a group of people, the ones who take care of old people. You wouldn't think they could get organized, but we were in a busload of them, and they were good singers. Yeah, we sang all the way out to where the strawberry fields were, and then we went to a big rally with the farm workers. Linda Chavez Thompson was there, and she spoke. She now lives in San Antonio, and she's still helping with a lot of stuff, including the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, which is my organization. And so the farm workers, anyway, they made it a movement. And that's what happened at Sodexo at Texas Christian University last week. They made it a movement. So it wasn't just the cafeteria workers facing management. It was like the cafeteria workers and the professors and the students. So the whole community was in.
The whole community. That's what it takes. We've all got to find a way. We've got to find a way to set our differences aside and work for the common good. And we can do that, and we're going to do that with this ALEC thing.
Okay, well, we're going to pull together. Alec's going to be here July 30th through August 2nd. This is connected to the privatization of the Dallas Independent School District, which is a major issue right now.
And the privatization of prisons in Texas, they're connected to that as well.
Okay, Darrell Sullivan, any final word?
Just want to say a shout out there to all my brothers in the Teamster Union. Y'all be safe out there and keep it between the lines.
This is Gene Lantz on the Workers Beat. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.